These altcoins have bounced now, and is this the start of a massive bull trap? Are we going to get our asses handed to ourselves? So guys, I'm going to show you some big danger zones for some of these altcoins. I'm going to tee you up for a couple of shorts, and obviously we're going to tee you up for some banger longs as well. So we got lots happening here. It's the first show of the new year. Let's go. And remember, guys, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. It's so good to be back. I missed you guys. I did take some leave, but it's nice to be back in the right place. Mr. 𝗵𝗆𝗏 is here, and I actually don't even know if he is or not. Are you or aren't you? What's his current situation?
𝗵𝗆𝗏 for sure. We're pumping too hard here. So, yeah, could we keep pumping? Maybe, but should we fall over? Yes. So, start off the year 𝗵𝗆𝗏. Why not?
Guys, I just wanted one opportunity at the start of the year that James was going to tell me he was bullish or bearish, but he couldn't handle himself. Let me know in the poll. I'm running a poll in the chats at the moment. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Like Banter Bubbles is incredible at the moment. Render is absolutely exploding. I mean, this must be some type of squeeze happening now. Is it time to short Render? Is it time to short XRP? I am looking at that chart as well, and I think we are going to have a sneaky short on this puppy today. If not, maybe a little bit later. And look, 𝗬𝗰 also squeezing high. Things are looking very nice at the moment. But guys, we need to remain calm. We need to remain measured. Okay, so let's start with BTC, and then I'm obviously going to get into the altcoin trap situation. I want to explain to you why I think we could be in a little bit of trouble here if we're not careful. So you can see BTC right now, 94K. This is our danger zone. This was my chart from earlier this week, and also in Chart Hackers this morning, 94K. Big danger zone. You can see we are reversing a little bit now on the 4-hour oscillator, and you're going to see on these altcoins we're getting bearish divergence prints as well. So things are looking a little bit heavy on that side at the moment. Now, in terms of current zones for BTC, we can see our major upside zones on the 4-hour time frame: 94K, 97,200. These are the big ones for me that we need to pay attention to. Now, in terms of bounces, degens, okay, a little bit degen here, 92,800. You can flirt around this area, might have something coming for you over there. And then my bull zone, which is my local bull zone, I like 91.5 into 90,500. That's going to be my first main port of call. Then we see what happens in this area, and we figure it out after that. Obviously, we do have the 50-day moving average a little bit lower. That was key for us to break originally, and that is going to be great support that we can use later on if we need to. So that is 89K at the moment. So let me know in the poll right now in the chats what you guys are thinking. Is it 97K or is it 90K? What is coming next? Now, what you guys have coming up today, I'm looking at a ton of alts. Okay, we got a lot of alts at resistance. I told some of the chart hackers guys we got some key rejection zones in play right now, so we can nibble around a couple of head shorts and things like that. Then we're going to look at bull zones for some of these longs. So I'm going to bring you I'm bringing you Sol, I'm bringing you ETH, I'm bringing you Pump, Hyperliquid. We're looking at Lighter. We're playing that game as well today, and then I've even got XRP. Are we going to short that thing live on the show? So let's jump into some of the news and see what's going on. I see Yumi. Nice to see Yumi here in the chats as well, and it's good to see all of you guys. And I must say, Mr. Licky's also missed me. Let's actually see what he has to say at the moment.
Oh, Dylan's back. How fantastic. Markets didn't move for weeks, and you're nowhere to be found. We have a little pump, and look who comes back to take the credit. While you were off recharging and touching grass, I was just monitoring charts in a different time zone. Hope you enjoyed your holiday. Hope the wife is happy. Can we please just get back to work now?
Okay, chill. Okay, so Mr. Licky's a little bit impatient with me, but guys, let's get into this. Let's see what is going on here. Let's tackle the most important stuff. And obviously, we know we've had a very big weekend out there. But first things first, Licky's, we had 475. And I think this makes a lot of sense at the moment with all the high leverage going on. Obviously, a lot of late longers coming in. We got breakout traders coming in now, and they can potentially get chopped up if their leverage is a little bit high. So that makes sense. 475 million. I know this is the new normal. James probably not very excited at the moment. Let's look at 𝗵𝗆𝗏 at 2 a.m. on Saturday, January 3rd. 2026. I mean, imagine what this felt like waking up to that move. And I think this is actually the snapshot that they took of him in the morning. So believe it or not, this actually started pumping the markets for us. It was actually quite incredible. And we can even see the Venezuelan stock market absolutely exploding as well. So a lot of bullish sentiment coming in. Obviously, this is not a political show, so we're not going to go into all the drama and all the details. But you can see the market is feeling a little bit bullish that maybe they're going to have a little bit of a second chance. James, any commentary? Keep it PC. Anything you want to say here?
America just got really rich. All kinds of resources. Markets are pumping. Let's long the top.
Okay, so yeah, it sounded like somebody needed some freedom. Okay, so anyway, okay, let's go. Okay, now obviously there's a lot of speculation. It's all about oil at the moment, and maybe these two boys are also discussing the current oil price, maybe slightly different oil that they're talking about. But in terms of the big one now, one of the things is there's potentially going to be more supply in the market. Okay, so the theory is this could obviously drop the oil price. I'm looking at WTI here at the moment, and this kind of falls into my plan that I was talking about late last year. This 49 region for WTI could be a nice number for us. So if we do get that drop, it is a macro 618, and I'm looking at a weekly chart. So that is something to look forward to. I think we'll get an absolute banger out of that zone when the time is right. So right now, just playing it cautious. Just let it come to you. Let's see if this starts playing out with tons of supply in the market. Let's see what happens. Now, obviously, they got heavy crude, and there's all sorts of debates about what it costs to actually refine this type of stuff. There's a whole story coming here, and I don't think it's as easy as clicking your fingers and we suddenly got a gazillion barrels. But
no, and you know what? I actually saw a oil field engineer talking about how long it'll take to get production up to where they want to. Historically, they used to do like 3 million barrels. They're only doing 700,000 or so now. It's going to take 3 years to build out the infrastructure to get that production back up. So this isn't going to just all of a sudden, like you say, make the oil market flooded with new product. But if they're taking control of the existing output and they can sell that, that can add to it. It's still 700,000 barrels.
Yeah, so look, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. Okay, anyway, so that is obviously what sparked a lot of the market news, a lot of the market action. And Bitcoin Archive is talking about the shadow reserve, Venezuela's Bitcoin shadow reserve. Now, look at this, estimated holdings. They're talking 600,000 BTC that they are speculating is currently held here by the Venezuelans. Okay, so if this is seized and the Bitcoin is likely frozen for years, that's fair comment. And that's obviously bullish. It's taking it off the market. Okay, so that is also one of the factors at the moment contributing to the pumpage, but we'll take anything. You know what? They can do whatever they want. As long as they're pumping the market, I'm quite happy. And in terms of the silver, how's this, James? I got a little scalpy on silver a couple of days ago, and this thing won't stop. Now, remember we longed the top of silver, and I was so proud of myself. I got like a 5% move, and
that was at 40 something, I think, when I was screaming to long the top and don't close that thing, and here it is, $80. Insane.
So terrible. Okay, so anyway, yeah, silver, it was a tiny position. It's starting to print a little bit of profit, and MicroStrategy's like absolutely basically strangling me out at the moment. Now we got the big date for MicroStrategy is on the 15th of January. I'm trying to hang on here. This is where we see, are they going to get removed from that index or not? Obviously, if they keep them in the index, MicroStrategy for me is going to bounce 15-20% in a day, I would guess. If not, I don't know. There is a question. Is the selling done? I mean, they've absolutely obliterated this thing.
And Kalshi Markets is showing the chances of this happening is like 20% chance of it actually staying in, 80% chance they're going to be removed. So if that's the case, that'll be a nice pullback, I would think.
Yeah, so look, guys, we played by ear. I'm still sitting in this thing. Okay, so fortunately, silver's gone up. It's softening the blow a little bit for me at the moment. But let's see how that plays out. Now, that is a good question from Slothman. When is silver short? So I did cover this a little bit last year in one or two of the shows that I did. And you can see I am tracking the monthly chart at the moment on silver. And you can see the last few times we did get these overbought signs, we did get a cool off in the market. So we are getting our overbought print now on the monthly on silver. So for me, this is saying blow off top territory here, maybe one more explosion, just clean out some of the shorters or some of the early shorters, and then this thing can start coming down. So anyway, if you are planning on shorting silver, just be careful. I suspect there is a blow off top here and then a big collapse on this thing, and then maybe the fun to the downside is going to start. Okay, so silver traders, just be careful up there. And right now, S&P still sitting sitting just under this all-time high at the moment. And we'll monitor the situation. We'll see how we go. The big support for me, 6,780, is still the nice one that I am tracking. Okay, MicroStrategy, guys, just further comment on this. 152 is our big support we're watching now. And then lower down, if we do get a capitulation, 108, that's got to be a long there. It has to be a long at 108 for MicroStrategy. That is going to come probably if they get kicked out of this this index or whatever the story is, that will come into play for me. If not, I think MicroStrategy is going to absolutely pump. Now, largest Bitcoin ETF inflow since October, says Quentin Francis, 697 million. So it means the guys are back. They're trying to long the top again. And let's see if this is going to play out. James, are we dealing with a trap here at the moment, or do you think we get all-time highs this year?
I think we are going to make new highs right now because we had tax harvesting at the end of December. Happens every year, right? All the institutions, they've got their tax harvesting they got to do. They got bonuses they got to worry about. They've got to close out funds, whatever else. There's now fresh liquidity for a fresh year that's being pumped in. That's why the ETFs are roaring like this. And that's why XRP is doing so well. The ETFs for them are record breaking. Yeah, there's lots of new liquidity dumping in. So XRP to the moon.
XRP army, we're going to short this thing live. I think if it is floating around where I think it is, I think we can get a little entry level short here on this XRP. Now let's just talk about BTC. So there's a couple of important things I want you guys to pay attention to here. And one of the things we've seen is a break of the 50-day moving average. That is the red line you see on all of my charts. That's the 50-day simple moving average. Now, Bitcoin has blown through that and actually exploded after it's broken through that. Then the altcoins, we've seen a ton of alts blow through the 50-day MA. What does this mean? It means we can start targeting potentially the 200-day moving average for Bitcoin and for some of these altcoins, and also any lagging altcoins, those that are under the 50-day moving average. We've noticed that when they pop through, they tend to explode quite nicely. So maybe you want to look for a couple of laggers out there that haven't broken the 50 yet, and that could be a nice play for you guys. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas, but in terms of Bitcoin on the 3-day at the moment, you can see here is our 200-day moving average. It's that light blue line over there, and that is now our next target for BTC, and that is simply going to play into that head and shoulders that I was talking about late last year. When was this? Probably, when did we discuss this? September, August? I don't know when we started talking about this thing, but it's been staring us in the face for a while. And after we got this drop here, we start looking at things like this, a possible head and shoulders. You can see that right shoulder coming into play. So for me, the extreme on BTC, 106 into about 108 at the moment is what I'm seeing possibly as a potential upside target for this move. What does it look like? Well, you can easily get chopped out here if your leverage is too high, and you could easily just see a situation like that and then a spike and then some kind of drop. So just be super careful with how you're playing it. This isn't a license to go max long everything on max leverage. That is one-way ticket to getting absolutely liquid. So be super careful with how you're playing this. But in terms of extreme targets, guys, 106, 108, looking super interesting for me at the moment as a potential for us. Okay, Matt says we need some СUI. Matt, I've closed my СUI long and I've got a СUI short running. I'm going to take you through that. And look, nice to see a СUI explosion. I must say that was a nice relief there for us. After basically, I was one of the bears on СUI coming out of the woods there. Now let's get into altcoins. Now, what is the trick, or what is the danger sign? What is the possibility? Like, what is this guy saying that we're looking at a trap now? So let me show you a couple of pointers here why I think this could be a trap and why you actually need to be careful. Like, longing at resistance is fun and breakouts are fun until they stop working, and that's obviously where you can get heavily chopped up. So in terms of the lickies, and you can see to the downside our liquidation heat map on the weekly, you can see there's a ton of liquidity now building up lower down. Again, doesn't mean it has to come down here, but in terms of, you know, if you are a market maker and you start looking at where the best business is or the easiest money to make, you can easily just drag it down into this 90K, 87K region quite easily to come and clean out some liquidity. So that is something I'm watching, number one. Then number two, this is total 3. Now, I touched on this on my show, my last show that I did, where I said we're looking at an altcoin reversal. I pulled out the total 3 chart and I was showing you guys that heavy support that we had in this lower band. We had order block, we had VWAPs, we had multiple reasons why I was expecting the total 3 to hold that support. Now, we've obviously popped through and the first danger zone is now in play, and you can see we are currently rejecting off this danger zone. So remember, total 3 is the altcoin market. It excludes Bitcoin and ETH, but it's pretty much every other altcoin out there. And what we can see is a possible rejection zone. And what does it mean? A rejection here means your typical altcoins start rolling over, okay? And we start getting a little bit bearish on these things until we get some kind of bullish bounce or whatever. So zone number one here for me is this 935 billion. This is danger zone number one. This is where we could expect some kind of reversal in the market. If there is a second push in the market, 975 billion, that is going to be the next one for me where I'm expecting a rejection. So in terms of locking in a couple of head shorts, what did I note today? A couple of alts sitting at resistance. We've got total 3 sitting at resistance as well. And we do have some liquidity to the downside. Another pointer for me at the moment is USDT dominance, guys. This thing basically controls the market. When this is nice and red, the market is pumping. When this thing is nice and green, the market is typically reversing, okay, or dumping. And right now, USDT dominance is bouncing on a weekly support level. Look at this over here. Here's your weekly support at the moment, and you can see this is bouncing a little bit, and you've got your total 3 rejecting. So you just got to watch these two together, because if this gets a little bit of momentum, obviously that total 3 is going to start rolling over. Okay, so that's another one there. And then in terms of Bitcoin dominance, well, this is an interesting one. It's a bit of a mixed bag at the moment. The big level for Bitcoin dominance is actually lower down. So if we do start losing this type of level here, I am looking at alts outperforming Bitcoin until we get to this 58.5% level. But let's see what this current bounce looks like. If they do bounce it back in and start churning higher, obviously these alts could be in a little bit of trouble here relative to Bitcoin. So you could see a little bit more pain on some of those alts. Okay, so right now you've got all the markers. This is why I'm a little bit concerned at the moment. And obviously I want you guys to hang on to any gain. So if you have caught some beautiful trades, remember there's nothing wrong with taking some profit at good resistance zones. There's nothing wrong with opening a couple of shorts at good resistance zones. Even if you're feeling net bullish for the short term, what you can do is you can open head shorts at nice resistance areas just to carry you, just in case you are wrong, then those shorts start printing for you to the downside. So just something to consider. Obviously, we cover that a lot in the Chart Hackers Discord as well. Those types of conversations obviously always happening. And then one more marker for you guys, obviously, is the 4-hour RSI heat map. And remember, when this thing is flipped the other way around, we are looking for longs. We are favoring longs. And right now, you can see we are in the zone where we should be favoring shorts. Look at these alts. They've bumped into the heavily overbought territory. Look at Bitcoin dominance here, getting very lonely here at the downside. And what do we see typically in a scenario like this? You might see the alts start dropping and Bitcoin dominance bouncing, and then you get that reversal in the market. Okay, so again, doesn't mean we have to be bearish. Doesn't mean this is the move that sends us to zero. It could simply be a 5% pullback on some alts. It could be a 10% pullback on some alts or whatever. And we don't have to turn super bearish just yet. But in terms of markers and protecting ourselves, protecting our risk and our capital, this is what you want to be watching. Okay, look at Render. If that's not a short here, I don't know what is, James. I haven't even looked at that chart, but Render is like, I actually haven't seen Render at this overbought in so long. It's actually crazy how high this thing is at the moment. So obviously a delayed squeeze here on this Render. Okay, so guys, let's get into alts. And what I've got coming for you, I just want to give you the hit list. Okay, we got tons, and obviously in the Chart Hackers Discord, we'll cover loads more for you guys. But right now, I've got Bonk, I've got Aawe, I've got 𝗵𝗆, I've got Lighter, I've got Hyperliquid, Pump, I've got Sol, I've got ETH, and a couple of others spread around here for you guys. So we got tons going on, and I knew Mia was trading. I knew she was trading some Render. And yeah, okay, so we can talk about Render in the Chart Hackers Discord. I'll actually cover that on the higher time frame charts. Now, Max Crypto says, what the actual, okay, insider whale long position is now over $820 million. Some dude is long $820 million, but look at the size of his ETH long here at the moment. He's $658 million long on ETH. I can't imagine, James, what that feels like to be $658 million long. I mean, that is actually quite baller for this guy. So very nice for him. Hopefully it goes well. Let's talk about ETH. And maybe he's watching the show, and maybe he's going to be interested in a couple of rejection zones. So you can see ETH on the 3-day. Again, what I like to do is I look at that very high time frame, and then I go into slightly more degen levels. But in terms of ETH on the 3-day at the moment, you can see 3,500 is looking pretty decent as our first major rejection zone. In fact, I just want to highlight our general bear zone of that area is 3,780 into 3,500. What is the bear zone? zone. The bear zone for me is normally a VWAP. It's a fib combination of 0.5 and 382. So it's that box over there is our bear zone. So looking at the 3-day chart, anything in that area, I'm looking for some kind of ETH rejection in that zone. Okay, so 3.5 to 3.8. All the lower time frame traders, I mean the higher time frame traders, that is for you guys. And now let's talk to the degens and see what the degens are doing, because sometimes I fit into this category. Okay, and in terms of ETH, well, I gave a couple of potential short zones to the Chart Hackers Discord earlier, and you can see ETH is rejecting now at 3,303, which was the short zone that I gave earlier today. And in fact, I gave it on my show at some point last week as well. Now, in terms of what we are looking at, the 4-hour oscillator is printing tons of bearish divergence at the moment, but again, it doesn't guarantee that it rolls over. We can easily see, like we have seen before, the divergence start failing. Okay, so we could potentially print another divergence here before this thing rolls over. And remember, every time we print divergence, what does it mean? It means that the price needs to go higher. So if you got to print bearish divergence, it means one more push to the upside on the price. So remember, every time the divergence fails, it means the price is going slightly higher. So in terms of ETH, I've locked in a head short here at 3,300. Let's see if we get this push to the downside. In terms of printing a second or a third or a fourth bearish divergence print, the next big short zone on the 4-hour time frame for me is got to be this 3,400 region. Why? It's the 786, it's the 100-day MA, and it's that beautiful wick over there. So 4-hour time frame, that is your rejection zone. Lower time frame here, 3.3 is your current rejection zone for ETH. Okay, so look out for that. If this does start rolling over nicely, then we can look at a couple of interesting longs. Now, I'm just adjusting these fibs because the price did move a little bit higher. And what you want to look for is your degen long zone. Okay, so degen's 3,180. That is where you can start sniffing around number one. Okay, that is your degen long zone. Then in terms of your local or your stronger bull zone that you want to be watching, it's 3,100 into 3,040. Okay, so that is your next big long zone there on ETH, and you've got so much support in that area. I think at the very least, even if the market turns super bearish, at the very least, you're getting a big bounce out of the market. Look at that 50-day MA. We got VWAPs there. We got a 0.5 as well. So that region, 3,100 into 3,040, really looking decent there for me on ETH if we do start falling over. Now, let's hope we don't have to go that deep, but that looks like a great long for me if the market does start capitulating a little bit. Degen J, welcome back. Yeah, and guys, thanks. If you're enjoying the content, obviously, hit the like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe, tell your friends about it. Okay, like get this content out there. If you like it, get other people watching here. And obviously a ton of the action happens in the Chart Hackers Discord. And remember, we got a massive team in there. There's non-stop setups for you guys just coming out all day long. Okay, and in fact, that reminds me, where's Muscles? Is he not coming today?
No, not today. He sent me a message that he was totally wrecked.
Okay, we'll get hopefully not in his trades. Is he just exhausted?
No, just exhausted. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get Muscles on next week. We're gonna get Chaos on next week. We're gonna get Panda on. We're gonna get everyone fired up again. Okay, so guys, that is the view on ETH at the moment. And remember, all these charts, they go into the Chart Hackers Discord for you directly after the show. Okay, it will be there waiting for you guys. Now, let's get into let's see what's going on. Okay, I've got a couple of things happening at the moment. Like traveling and trading is quite a tricky play, but James actually said that I missed the move, and I said I'm quite nimble on my phone. Okay, I try and do what I can. You know, I might have been on the beach doing a couple of things, but we made it happen. And now I've picked up a couple of hedges here at the moment. So I've got ETH short, I've got a Peppy short at the moment, and what have I got here? I got some Sol long, injective long from earlier today. That was a nice little breakout that I was chasing. That is now turning red. Hyper liquid, interesting one. I'm going to show you guys that as well. There's the Sui short from earlier. There's Lighter, okay, going nice and green at the moment. We got AVAX doing things. I've got an AVAX head short running, Bonk short running, BTC short at that resistance zone. We got Pump head short and a Pump long. Look at that Pump long starting to do things. I've got a tweet for you talking about these launch pads here. On some of these alts. Okay, so that is the current situation. Oh, I see we're going nice and red now. Okay, well, there we go. As long as we got a couple of hedges here. And John, hello, sir. How are you? And always enjoy it. I'm glad you guys will enjoy it. And I missed you guys. I was saying to James, I was feeling quite guilty that I was away for so long. Now, let's talk Sol meme coin launch pads. See their strongest activity in 3 months across all metrics. Okay, and I think you can see it in the charts. Look at Bonk. Look at all these other memes. They've absolutely exploded. And it shows us again, funnily enough, everyone hates them when things are going badly, but when risk on comes, everybody dives into their things. And the best performers, again, I would say, are the meme coins like 𝗵𝗵𝗿, Bonk, and XRP. Okay, never mind.
I got that Bonk on the weekend. I just pushed a button. I was watching a movie with my daughter. Thought, let me just put a little money in. It flew. I was like, man, I should have done so much bigger on that. You got to go memes, guys. It is still a thing there at the moment. Okay, so let's talk Sol. Obviously, a beneficiary of memes pumping and things like that is Sol. Obviously, a lot of the memes are on the Sol ecosystem, and you can see what's going on here. Sol has now rejected at our VWAP. Look at our VWAP, 142.8. There's that VWAP, little rejection in that area at the moment. And you can see we printed some bearish divergence. Again, looks very similar to ETH at the moment. And again, I want to say, just because the market's a little bit red now, doesn't mean they can't come and surprise you, push a lower high here on the oscillator, and then print a new high for Sol, bang, up there at about 144, 145. So look out for a second wind, look out for a second pump. On Sol, just be careful. If you do push into 145, that type of region, be super cautious up there. That, for me, is another short zone that you want to be watching. Now, in terms of potential bounce zones for you guys, again, we just want to adjust our zones. What I want to do is see where my local bull zone is. And ideally, that bull zone is VWAPs and fibs all combined together. You sprinkle in a couple of order blocks and stuff like that. But right now, what I can see at the moment for Sol in terms of first line of support, 133. This is a really nice zone for me. The reason being, we've got 133. It's our 382 fib. We've also got our 50-day MA bringing in support over here as well. Okay, so that region looks pretty good to me on Sol. Not expecting much less than that. I would say if we start losing the 50-day, it's miserable. Okay, we don't want to do that. We want to look for longs off that 50-day moving average. Okay, so any drops there, for me, I would lean towards longs, okay, until proven otherwise. Now, in terms of pump, just touching on this one briefly, what you can do is, this is one of the outliers. Look at this. We are under our 50-day moving average. Now, you've seen a ton of these altcoins explode through the 50-day MA, and pump might be one of them that's earmarked to start moving next. So all you need to do is make sure that the meme market is doing nicely, the market is turning bullish again, risk on, etc., etc., and then you're probably going to find that pump starts exploding a little bit higher. Now, where can it go? Obviously, it's tricky. I don't want to get too deep into this stuff, but in terms of potential targets, 27, you can see 31 looking interesting, even 33. Any of those zones make a ton of sense to me here if there is a bit of momentum in the market. But how do you play it? How do you get an entry? So in terms of looking at pump right now, I think just without anything else on this chart, you can see at the moment that's not the best look. Looks like a bit of a Batman or whatever you call this thing at the moment. Yeah, looks like an owl, actually. In fact, there's the owls. Beautiful. So that could be a little bit of a bearish sign for us. So what you want to do, depends how degen you are. You can try and find your local VWAP zone, and you can start playing around with your local VWAPs. Now, I'm going a little bit extreme here. I'm using the low from 8 a.m. yesterday for me. This was Monday, the 5th of January. Okay, so that is my local VWAP low, and that is for degens. Okay, so degens only if you are looking for some kind of entry here. And what you can do is you can play that 382 and 0.5 area. That is going to be your local bull zone that you want to watch. So for me, first zone, 242 into 238. That is your potential degen long zone. So just obviously be careful with your sizing and how you're going to play this thing, because obviously if we start losing that VWAP, then things accelerate a little bit more to the downside. But ideally, if this is our little degen entry, we can get something in the zone and then possibly that explosion through that 50-day moving average. Okay, so if you're not already in pump, that is a degen area you can try. Just be prepared to get stopped if they start putting you under pressure. Don't get married to it. You can see we've got much lower levels down here that could come into play if things start rolling over. Okay, so it's about a 2% risk in that region. And what we want to see is that 50-day moving average get blown through, and then we are cooking on this pump. Okay, so just be patient here, guys. Now, in terms of some of these dexes, Aster leads the 24-hour perps volume. Still don't believe that. Okay, like I think it's artificial anyway. Followed by Hyperliquid, which I think is the market leader, and followed by Lighter, which obviously could be a little bit artificial now as well because it's the new launch and etc. etc. So these are the three big ones at the moment. And don't forget, there are smaller dexes that are trying to do similar things to these guys, where you're going to get airdrops on tokens and stuff like that. And one of these dexes is obviously Gravity,
that we've been trading on for a while. You guys have seen the Banter Royale as well. We've been trading on Gravity for that. So if you want to do the farming and stuff, just go into the show description, grab that link under the show doc there, and you will see a Gravity link for you guys, and you can do some farming. Now, let's get into Lighter. Let's get into hype. Why is this interesting to me? So for me, like, Lighter is going to be one of these narratives plays where everybody decides this is the new shiny thing and they want to make this thing pump, and everybody jumps in. So just like we saw on Hyperliquid previously and we saw on Aster previously, I think Lighter could give us a little bit of bullish action. Okay, so right now we do need to be careful. I have found with Lighter, I'm trading super small positions because it is really volatile and you can really get chopped out very quickly. So I'm starting my trades with super small position. When there is momentum, I start adding to it. I am trying to get into some kind of decent size move with this thing. Right now, you can see Lighter on the 2 hour, not looking amazing. Look at that. We printed bearish divergence. The cash flow is still nice and strong here at the moment, but the oscillator is telling us, you know, maybe be a little bit careful. So what I've said here for the guys in the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏s Discord is, as long as we are holding these VWAPs here, I'm pretty bullish on this on this Lighter. So 2.9 into around about 2.8 makes a bit of sense to me here. Look for this drop into that zone. Anywhere in this area, bang, we are looking for some kind of move on this light. Okay, so keep this on your watch list. It could be a performer, small positions until this thing really starts cooking. So 2.9, 2.8, wait for it to come to you. Let's see if we can get a little play. And then in terms of upside targets, 3, 4, 5, and you've got 3.8 making sense to me. Now, yes, sir.
Did you hear about the size of the airdrops that came from this thing?
Yes.
I know one of our members in the Discord got over 12K dropped on this thing. I was like, holy crap, that's a pretty nice little airdrop. Now, he had $1 million in volume, so that'll be part of it. But
I know some guys that got $750 to $1 million.
Holy crap, what kind of volume did they do?
Yeah,
that kind of
a handful of trades. Yeah, no, it's proper. So, you know, that's why, guys, I've been farming this Gravity. Again, don't know if it will ever compete or if it will or whatever the story is, but Hyperliquid, Lighter, Aster, you got Gravity, there's your opportunity. Okay, so, you know, I've been farming this thing, getting some volume going on this. Let's see if it's going to play out. Okay, so Hyperliquid, what do we got? So this was a breakout trade I gave this weekend in the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏s Discord, and I was just looking for this pop to the upside and then a continuation. Okay, now what is the issue here? What is the bear case? The bear case for Hype is that the interest is with Light, and Hyperliquid, you know, they lose interest for a while. Lighter pumps to the heavens, and then they come back and then they start trading Hype. Okay, so that is obviously the bear case where the interest won't be that much in Hype. The bull case is Hype is the number one. It's a number one DEX out there. It's making tons of money. If the market's bullish, it's making money, and they're doing their buybacks and their burns or whatever they're doing. So for me, I am still bullish on this Hype. Obviously, when this Lighter trade dies down, the Hyper might obviously start picking up. But right now, obviously trying the Hype trade. Now you can see in terms of support, we have broken through an interesting zone here at the moment. And now we just simply want to find our bull zone. We want to see our continuation zone. Where can we hold? And if we start losing that level, where do we exit? Remember, we need to understand that we can happily leave a trade if we are long or wrong, and we can always come back later on. Okay, so 26 is what I'm watching here. This is our first bull zone here on Hyperliquid, 26 into 25.6. That is your first bull zone here for Hype. Let's see if we can push into that area, and that is going to be a possible bounce here for you guys. Remember, these charts will be in the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏s Discord for you, so don't panic. You can always just find them there in the Discord. So 26 into 25.6 for me on Hype. That is my local bull zone. That is where I want to see some kind of push to the upside. And then in terms of possible shorts, you saw I had a short marker over here, and this is still valid for me. So this will be a second push, a little squeeze in the market there, bang into that VWAP, and then that drop. So danger up here, 27.8. Danger zone, possible short zone here for you guys as well. 27.8. Look out in that area. Okay, let's get into 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Then I've got Bonk for you guys. Geez, I've got a lot here at the beginning of the year. We got SPX, we got Peppy. I've got XRP. Are we going to short XRP, or is it too late now that the market's fallen over a bit? And then we're going to talk about 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Mia. Yes, when entry starts again today. What is when entry? It's a high conviction trade that I give after every show, or after pretty much every show, that I give you guys a solid setup, entry, stop loss, take profit zones, and you basically just set and forget, and hopefully it works out. Right now, we've got a fairly good hit rate on the when entry, and I'm looking for this to continue into 2026. Okay, so Hyperliquid, guys, you've got, let's talk 𝗲𝗿. Why is this interesting to me? So number one, 𝗲𝗿 hasn't broken the 50-day MA just yet. So I think this could be something to watch. Then you've got a guy like Jordy talking about how amazing 𝗲𝗿 is. Again, the fundamental guys, this will get you drooling. This will get you super excited. In fact, it's too much reading for me. I just like to trade these shit coins. But if you want to read about 𝗲𝗿, there it is. Okay, that will make you aroused or whatever it needs to. And oh my, this is annoying. This is annoying. I wanted to break out. Okay, so what do we got? What is our bear case? You can see we got 4-hour bearish divergence on 𝗲𝗿. We under the 50-day moving average. And, you know, all things being equal, this is a typical short zone that I look for. Now, let me just show you what I said to the Discord earlier today. And here's my channel here. Here's some of my altcoins that I dropped here for the guys earlier today. And here's 𝗲𝗿. I said, here's the debate. Okay, it's under the 50-day MA, printing bearish divergence, a typical short setup that I love. Yes. Okay, now you've seen I've taken shorts on 𝗵, 𝗬𝗰, a couple of others, also very similar setup to those. And for me, I've been trying to build a position on 𝗲𝗿 because I believe that this thing has performed very well in bullish conditions in the past. And I think if the market flips bullish for a week or three, 𝗲𝗿 is going to go to 240, 250 relatively quickly. So I'd like a piece of that. So my intention, obviously, with 𝗲𝗿 is to hold this thing a little bit longer and see if we can build a position. Now, that would mean I want to see all this divergence start failing relatively soon, because if we see 4-hour divergence play out in full, that typically could send all these tokens. I'm not even being picky with 𝗲𝗿. That could send all these tokens past their 618s. It could send them back to lows and things like that. So that is obviously on the table here for us if this divergence is going to play out. But right now, your bull zone number one, 164. Looking for longs here on 𝗲𝗿, 164. That is going to be lower time frame bounce long. So you're going to go into your 1 hour and you're going to look for at least some kind of reversal on the 1 hour. Okay, so what I've done is I've zoomed in here. Don't blindly long unless you have guides from your oscillator. Okay, so I just want to show you, look at this oscillator. We need this thing to drop. We want to see a reversal print here at the bottom. And if that reversal is printing in the bull zone, that is your push button cue. You don't typically want to start blindly opening longs on support when your time zones that you are watching are not showing reversals or some kind of divergence or something along the way. So just remember, you want to marry them together and always have as many points of confluence as possible. So in terms of that 164, hopefully that makes sense for you guys as to why I like that area. Okay, so 𝗲𝗿 164, looking for longs there. Let's see if we can get that continuation play then and send this thing a little bit higher. 182, 193, and then 250 is that 200-day moving average. Look at that, all lonely there at the top. Okay, and Mr. Bello, I think all the shit coins will make new lows by next month. I cannot disagree with that statement. I'm not bullish. Okay, look at this. Okay, that is a monster head and shoulders on Bitcoin. Imagine what that will do to the altcoins. So if you get a euphoric pump here during January, look out. 103, 106, 108. That could be the rejection zone, and that could be the area that sends these alts to new lows. Okay, I can't disagree with that statement. I think it's a reasonable comment that you are making over there. Okay, so yeah, let's see. Again, chart hackers, we play level by level. We don't look too far ahead. We just watch the big zones and we react on those zones and we play it accordingly. Okay, and virtual's your favorite after all. That thing's probably ripped. I've missed that completely. Probably just a little bit sad for me right now if I have missed that thing. Okay, so guys, in terms of 𝗲𝗿, that's the plan. Okay, if it changes tomorrow, I'll bang out new levels for you and new setups. But kind of that is what we're looking at here at the moment. In terms of my long, which was absolutely cooking on Blowfin, it's now uncooking itself at the moment. You can see I've got 𝗲𝗿 long here, and I've got Bitcoin Cash. I gave you my reasoning behind the Bitcoin Cash long on my show last week for you guys. Hopefully you got some of that action. And right now, let's see if we can hold on to this 𝗲𝗿. Maybe it's going to hold that zone for us and then send us past that 50-day moving average. Okay, now let's talk meme coins briefly here. Rand says meme coin dominance bouncing back from the 2024 bottom. This is a beautiful chart. I mean, this looks absolutely incredible. If we can get some continuation, it actually looks like the bonk chart, for example. Like, it's actually crazy. All these things look the same. But look at the size of the move. And I just want to remind you guys, these meme coins, obviously, they all do their thing. Okay, but in terms of moves that Bonk has had when people feel peak bearish, 250% over there. We had 394% over there. total size move. I mean, even this one, what was that? 360%. So again, like we've seen these movies before where we drop into these zones, it's peak bearish feelings, all these types of things. And then you get a surprise bounce and then you wait for the dip and the dip doesn't come and it keeps going, no. And then you buy the top and then you get wrecked. Okay. And we've seen this so many times. Okay. Like, I mean, James is laughing because he knows the story. Okay.
100%.
This time is different. Okay. So guys, all I want to say is, you know, if you're trading on leverage, just focus on your closer local zones and play those zones. Okay, just play the zones. If you get these moves, we'll get the push to the upside eventually. It's not a big deal. Okay. In terms of bonk, here it is on the lower time frame. Now, what I want to show you guys is a couple of things. Number one, this is potentially a little bit bearish over here. You can see, looks like some of the other alts. We got a little double toppy situation going on. And in terms of our first sort of degen area that you can watch for bonk, 1155 into 111. Okay, looking at that, 1155 into 111. That is going to be your first little super degen bonk bounce zone. Okay, reality, where can this thing actually go lower down? Again, it's tricky to give you exact zones, but you can see I've got this beautiful area over here and I've got a 50-day moving over here, and for me that is the banger. Okay, and again, it's a big drop into this 89 region, 93, 89, that whole region there. But again, if the market starts rolling over, I'm going to tee you guys up with those reversal longs when the time is right. That might be tomorrow, it might be the next day, but you're just going to have to be patient. But that is your big zone. Now, in terms of the oscillator, you can see when the oscillator starts losing levels, I hate that. Okay, that normally accelerates to the downside. So just be super careful there with that guy. Let it come to the bottom. Once it's settling down on the 2 hour on a nice support, then we can look for longs of some good areas. Okay, so I'll look after you guys on this thing. Don't worry. We'll cover you in the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 the danger zone, looks exactly the same. Look at that. Look at this double toppy here. What's going on? Did you guys get euphoric and trade along the tops? When we've got bearish divergence printing, all these types of things at resistance. Okay, just remember, you want to be careful there in those zones. Now, it looks exactly like the bonk 2-hour chart as well in terms of a local degen bull zone. Possible bounce here, 6.2 into 6.04, and then the solid bull zone for me has to be 56. Okay, so wait for this bull zone here at 56. If you are unsure what you want to do, that for me is starting to look a little bit more attractive now on any dips in the market. Okay, so something like that around about that 56 could make sense for some kind of move there. Okay, and when Popcat pop, Yumi, at this rate, I don't know if it's ever going to pop. Look at this SPX. It's going to zero as we speak. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see. But guys, SPX longs here, 56 looks interesting here on a potential sell-off. Now, Peppy as well, you can see this thing also, beautiful bounce. Look at that chart. You can see the types of moves we've gotten out of that thing. And if you look at this weekly, it's nothing wrong with a rejection here. Okay, so you can't be upset if this thing is rejecting. We've popped through, we're rejecting. You can still be bullish on this chart all the way down to 51. Makes sense. Now, in terms of the 4-hour chart, this looks disgusting at the moment. Look at this double divergence here, and it looks like it wants to press a little bit lower. Okay, so keep your eyes on this 4-hour. We want to see it down here, printing these types of things. That'll make us slightly happier or slightly more bullish. Okay, so right now, Peppy is trying to push down. Let it play out. Okay, if you are unsure, let this thing play out. In terms of degen zones that I can see right now, what are the current degen areas? Let me mark them for you. First one is 634, that's super degen. You've got your 236 fib, and you've got a very local VWAP. So 634, watch that. That's a possible degen bounce. It might not be a new high. It might just be a simply lower high like that, and then they just drop it down. You could see something like that along the way. So just be careful with the length of these trades, okay, if you're looking for these moves. So 64, your next one is 587, and your next one is 50. That you are going to be watching. Okay, and then let's hit there it goes. There she goes. Guys, I'm sorry. I wanted to short XRP with you guys on the show, and yeah, it's too late now. Okay, it's look, if you're jumping into this thing now, let's take a look here. it's 6% risk. Okay, that's too much for what I'm looking for. Okay, I don't want to take 6% risk on a short. Let it play out now. We'll have to see. Okay, remember, we like to get precise entries or as precise as possible on some of these alts because we want our risk to be like 2 to 3%. 6% starts getting a little bit gambly for me. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, XRP, you can see rejection here at the moment on a trend. So that is 2.4. That is your danger zone. Where do you get your new long at the moment? I think it's very simple game plan. You just want to create your local bull zone here and start digging out. And when it comes to you, we'll look for these longs. Okay, so right now the local bull zone actually is the VWAP, and it's going to be a 618. So 202 at the moment is what I'm seeing on XRP. Okay, 202. But I'll update this for you guys in the Hackers Discord, and obviously we'll cover. Well, guys, I'm just so excited to be back. Okay, we're going to do this every day. I mean, I'm so happy to be back here, and normal content resumes. Okay, Mr. 𝗵𝗆, thank you, sir.
Good luck, everyone.
Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah,
Happy New Year.
We had a pump. Now we get a dump. Maybe it's a bullish dump. Let's see how we go. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, catch you later.